show you my daughter.
Ew, I just got back from work.
This is my daughter.
Hello.
Like, isn't she beautiful? This is what I've worked so hard for, is my daughter and my baby boy too. I'm so proud of them. But I'll be back. I've got to change the light bulbs in her room, so hang with me. Alright, I'm back. This is my little girl, beautiful. She's something else, huh? She's a superior softball player. And what's a shame, you know, partly of what's going on here in our lives is that she really would probably be getting a full ride to the university of her choice, which was going to be like maybe U of A, where I can't think of the girl's name right now, but the pitcher, Amanda, is not a pitcher. However, she is she plays shortstop and third base and center field sometimes. She's a phenomenal catcher, but she hates wearing the equipment, and which is too bad. We spent a fortune on catcher equipment for her, and she just decided that the equipment was bulky. It bothered her knees, getting down on her knees like that, and that's okay because the other position she plays, she plays very well. However, I don't even know where she's going to end up going to school. We're looking at maybe moving to California here in the very, very near future. And up there we're looking at where we can afford, they don't even have fast pitch softball. So, I mean, that dream of hers may get crushed because of this whole thing over the few plans. But anyway, we are at Trinidad, right? We come back from Trinidad. Trinidad was a time in I suppose my life, even though I don't recall it, and my mom and my dad's life, probably the most harmonious time, which is good. I mean, from 10 months old to you know, approximately 3 years old, essentially, I guess there was some harmony in our family. I know at the very least that my dad was cheating on my mom while she was pregnant with my brothers. We were back in Flagstaff, I believe, Arizona, and we had bought a Corvette, and that's actually one of my earliest childhood memories. Is of the Corvette crawling in the back in the cubby hole. It was a coupe. I've got a picture I just found. I thought I had lost it. I found it a week or so ago going through the attic for our yard sales we're having, and it's a great picture of my dad and my mom and me, and I'm probably about 3 years old, I guess, and it's at Lake Pleasant in Arizona, and the Corvette is sitting there. It was the dark blue 427 car with 4-speed. It's got this, you can see the Stinger hood in the picture. But anyway, so during the time, at least, when my mom was pregnant with my brothers, is when their marriage was really going downhill. The day my brothers were born, July 1st, 1967, my dad wrecked the Corvette. My mom was in the hospital. Somebody called my dad up in Kingman and said that you know, Judy is in Phoenix, and my brothers were also born in Good Samaritan Hospital like I was. You know, Judy is, well, I suppose he knew she was in Phoenix, but you know, Judy's getting ready to have the baby. At this point, again, they didn't know it was twins until 2 babies came out. So my dad gets in the Corvette with, I guess it was his boss, and they're hauling ass down, I'd probably be I-9, or not I, but you know, State Highway 93, I suppose, in Phoenix. And my dad wrecked the Corvette at approximately 160 miles an hour. He flipped it 5 times, and they walked away from it. It's an amazing story. My dad says, now one thing you have to understand about my dad was a prodigious liar. My dad was a pathological liar. I mean, not only did he lie about virtually everything, so much of what I've been told by my father about my ancestry and whatnot, I have no idea if it's true or not. I'll give you a for instance. and I've tried to look this up, and I don't want to pay the money for Ancestry.com or whatever, but my dad says that we're related to Sir Cecil Rhodes, who founded Rhodesia, De Beers Diamonds, the Rhodes Scholars. I kind of doubt that. So anyway, again, just as an example of my dad and his need to feel more important than what he really was, I suppose. Let me see what my time is here. See, for some reason, if I flip that screen around, I can see what the time is, but when it's flipped around this way, it doesn't show up. So anyway, my brothers are born. My grandmother always told me that basically that was my downfall. Because for 3.5 years I was number one. I was highly intelligent. I knew what was going on around me. And, I was it. I was my grandpa's favorite. Well, he had me and my cousin Debbie, who's a few months older than me. But at any rate, I do not recall having feelings of animosity towards my brothers just because people would pay attention to them. For example, I mean, they had like the double stroller for twins, and I can remember riding on the back of it. I don't have memories of people coming up and oohing and awing over my brothers, because they really are identical. I mean, especially back then, I was like the only person that could tell them apart. And I was the only person that could understand them when they talked. I had to translate for them. Anyway, I don't recall having specific memories of resentment over that. But my grandmother seems to think it affected me in some way. That what my grandmother doesn't realize is that the envy that I felt regarding my brothers was that she was giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars and giving me table scraps at the same time because I was the black sheep of the family. And she could never understand why I didn't appreciate the table scraps, which I did. But, I mean, when you're giving me a couple thousand to placate me and giving my brother a house, I mean, I'm like, well, what about me? Anyway, maybe that's selfish on my part, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, my brothers were born, and I love my brothers, and there's even a story that it goes where my mom was just worn out from taking care of the twins. They were about 6 months old, so I was about 4 years old, and my mom was just passed out in the living room, whatever, on the couch. And I went in and I got my brothers warm milk. I warmed them up their milk, and I put up pillows so that they couldn't roll over, and to help prop the bottle for them to drink, which probably was, in retrospect, probably wasn't the best thing because it maybe could have drowned them. Thank God it didn't, but I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to help my mom, trying to help her get some sleep, and really, I mean, that's just indicative of the kind of person I've been my whole life. I've always had this battle of good and evil, almost. This part of this, the Buddy Rhodes, my father, that always respected Howard Rhodes, his father, and Howard Rhodes was the baddest swinging dick on Grand Avenue, and all this stuff, and but I never admired. I never wanted to emulate that. When I was a kid, okay, I think that's about it. So let's see, we're at still pretty much about my brothers and being young, and all right.